Hey, Jim Hoffman here for EMS Office Hours. This is your Monday Minutes. Gonna continue on with A&P, and we're gonna start into the nervous system today. This is gonna be broken up into 2 or 3 parts. Again, but these are quick kind of overviews of the A&P sections, okay? Much more in depth, of course, is should you use your EMS textbook. But of course, this is designed to help you recall the key factors that you need when you're faced with an EMS exam or when you're doing your paperwork for a patient or thinking about what might be going on with the patient. And this is why it's important. It's not just about the exam preparation. It's also about your documentation, your clinical impression of a patient, okay? Bringing these types of key elements that I try to bring to you in these Monday Minutes to help you better prepare for exams, yes, and for your clinical impression on the patient, what you might be doing with the patient as far as treatment or transport. So it's all important, even though these are little snippets of a larger presentation, let's say, it's important to understand and to get these key elements down, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this. And we talk about the nervous system. And again, this is part 1, right? And what does it do? Well, it controls the involuntary and the voluntary movement, and that's made up of the central nervous system, okay, and the peripheral nervous system. Okay, you've got your cells themselves, right? You got the cell body, or the soma, the dendrites, which receive the impulses, your axons, which carry those impulses away, right? You've got the synapse, right? In this, again, guys, these are key elements, right? Synapse, dendrites, axons, things you're going to see on exam. So don't just take it as I'm just kind of rambling through this stuff. These are key, topics, key phrases you're going to want to remember, okay? So we'll go back real quick. You talk about the neurons, and that consists of your cell body, the dendrites, and the axons, right? Now your synapse, this is the region that surrounds the point of contact between 2 neurons, or let's say a neuron and its effector organ, okay? And your nerves have both your sensory nerves, which transmits back to the brain, and then you've got your motor nerves, and those transmit towards the muscles, all right? Remember that. You're going to probably see that on the test, if you haven't already, which nerves go to the brain and which nerves transmit to the muscles. Keep that in mind. You might see that on the test. Now, nerve impulses. We're going to wrap this up again. This is a quick Monday Minutes. We're not going to get into all the little things about electrical charges and the nerve cells themselves and things like that, okay? This is for the overall understanding and the key elements. If you don't understand or this isn't ringing a bell to you, go back to your textbook. Look up the elements that you need, okay? Whether you have to understand more about dendrites, you have to understand more about a synapse, or what sensory nerves do, or what motor nerves do, right? Very basic for me to say sensory nerves transmit back to the brain. A lot more to it than that, but when it comes to remembering what's going on with your patient, right, or what you might need to recall for a test, this is the stuff that's going to come in handy. This stuff is the stuff that's gold to you when it comes in that type of stuff, okay? So, your nerve impulses, again, this is the stuff that's carried, and it's by changing that electrical charge of each cell. Your sodium, potassium pump, you've heard of that, right? The calcium ions, they all move in and out of the cells. They change the charge, okay? This is just sort of an example. Now, we talk about the states of impulses, and you think about EKG, right? The repolarization or depolarization, right? Well, the resting state is when that nerve impulse is, that nerve cell is polarized, right? When the nerve impulse hits, it becomes depolarized. And then as that nerve impulse moves on, it becomes repolarized. Okay? I hope these little key elements here, guys, are starting to kind of click for you and kind of let you understand the type of information you need to really pay attention to. Again, not just for an EMS exam you might be taking, all right? But again, it's great to understand these key elements because this is the stuff that's going to click in your head to help you remember the larger, more in-depth topic, okay? And help you sort of recall this information, the important elements of this information. When you're treating your patient, when you're documenting what you did or why you did something, why you did not do something. This all ties in, guys, and this is very important. You might think the A&P is a snore fest of EMS, right? A lot of us do. Okay, some of us eat this stuff up. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you take these key elements, you take this information, and you try to either build on it by going and seeking out more information to build upon the key information I'm giving you here, or that you use it to help you recall what you already know as a provider, as a EMS professional, right? You recall this information so that you can do great on exams, so that you can make a better clinical assessment of your patient, and then you can even document better by what you did, didn't do, or why you did something for a patient. I hope you can use these Monday Minutes, guys. If you've got minutes of your own, send them over to me. I'd love to include them in upcoming segments of the Monday Minutes. Real quick, if you like this type of stuff, and I know I've mentioned this in previous videos here, but the EMS Quick Study Guide is a resource that I've used on every test I've ever taken for years and years and years, okay? And it really is that overall sort of meat and potatoes of your overall EMS course. It's kind of narrowed down to about 100 pages, all right, and covers what I've been talking about on these Monday Minutes, but it's in a book form for you to look at it and read it and maybe understand these key elements better. If you're interested in this stuff, go click the link on the bottom. Go check this out, and we have it both in a digital format you can download to your computer, or you can order the actual physical spiral-bound version of the EMS Quick Study Guide. All right, guys, that's it for me. As always, again, any suggestions for some Monday Minutes of your own, send them over to me. My email is contact@emsofficehours.com. Until next week, as always, this is Jim Hoffman for Monday Minutes and EMS Office Hours. Stay safe.